Good to be back, Gray.
In the near future, technology controls almost everything. Self-driving cars, AI assistants, and a world running on automation. But for Gray Trace, an old-school mechanic who prefers grease over gadgets, this digital era feels suffocating. Working on a car in his garage. Satisfied with his repair, he shuts the hood, starts the engine, and beams with pride at his success.
I love you.
To celebrate, he cracks open a bottle of beer and steps outside. Just then, his wife, an employee at a major tech corporation, arrives home in her sleek, self-driving car. They exchange warm smiles before heading into their lavish home. That evening, the mechanic convinces his wife to accompany him as he returns a newly repaired car to a client. As night falls, they leave their futuristic city and drive to an extravagant mansion in a remote area. There, they meet the mechanic's client, who turns out to be a brilliant inventor and the head of a competing tech company. Eager to showcase his latest breakthrough, the inventor introduces them to an advanced microchip designed to function as a highly intelligent brain. Skeptical of modern technology, the mechanic remains wary of the invention, fearing its potential dangers. After their visit, the couple heads home in the self-driving car. Along the way, the mechanic voices his concerns about the growing influence of AI-driven technology, reinforcing his belief that machines are taking over human roles. Suddenly, he notices something alarming. The car has veered off course. His wife attempts to correct its route, but the onboard AI malfunctions, causing the vehicle to accelerate uncontrollably. Their car crashes near the docks, and before they can react, a group of armed men emerges from another vehicle. The attackers drag them from the wreckage, shoot them both, and leave the scene. The wife succumbs to her injuries, while the mechanic, still conscious, realizes he has lost all feeling in his legs. The police arrive shortly after, but the damage is done. Though he survives the brutal attack, the mechanic is left permanently paralyzed, the bullet having severed his spine. 3 months later, the mechanic returns home in a wheelchair, struggling to adjust to life as a quadriplegic. His mother moves in to care for him, while various machines assist with his daily needs. However, he sinks into a deep depression, barely speaking, eating, or leaving the house. One morning, accompanied by his mother, he visits the police station, frustrated by the lack of progress in his wife's murder case. Despite advanced surveillance systems and drone technology, the authorities have failed to identify the attackers. That night, overwhelmed by hopelessness, he attempts suicide by overdosing on his medication. Fortunately, the AI system in his home detects the emergency and immediately calls an ambulance. He is rushed to the hospital and survives the attempt. There, the inventor visits him with an extraordinary offer: a second chance at life. He proposes implanting the experimental microchip into the mechanic's spine, restoring his ability to walk. However, there is a catch. He must keep his recovery a secret, as human trials of the technology are still illegal. If he agrees, he will be the first person to receive an AI microchip implant. Initially hesitant, the mechanic eventually consents, and the surgery is a success. Soon after, he regains full movement. The inventor has him sign a confidentiality agreement and explains that the microchip functions as a bridge between his brain and damaged nervous system, allowing him to control his body again. Back at home, the mechanic is startled when he hears a voice inside his head.
May I point something out?
It's the microchip, communicating directly with him.
I am STEM, the system operating your body for you.
The AI analyzes drone footage from the night of his wife's murder and makes a chilling discovery. One of the attackers didn't use a gun. He had a firearm embedded in his arm. The microchip also identifies another assailant by a distinctive wrist marking and instantly retrieves his background information and home address. Determined to seek justice, the mechanic tracks the man down. After waiting for him to leave, he sneaks into his house and sifts through his messages. He uncovers evidence that the man was enhanced with cybernetic implants, along with multiple references to a nearby bar. Before he can process the information, the man unexpectedly returns. A violent struggle ensues, and the mechanic finds himself trapped in a chokehold. As his strength fades, the microchip urges him to relinquish control. Desperate, he agrees. Instantly, the AI takes over, turning the mechanic into a lethal fighter. With precise, calculated movements, he swiftly overpowers his opponent, killing him with brutal efficiency. Once the danger has passed, the microchip relinquishes control, returning his body to him. Shaken and horrified by what he has done, the mechanic panics, but the AI remains calm, instructing him to erase all traces of his presence from the crime scene. The next day, police discover the man's body. During the autopsy, the medical examiner is shocked to find advanced cybernetic implants embedded in the corpse. He reports his findings to the detective and mentions an unusual clue: a single shoe print at the crime scene, containing traces of engine grease. This detail raises the detective's suspicions, as the mechanic frequently works with engine grease. However, there's no footage of him near the crime scene, and as far as she knows, he's still paralyzed, meaning he shouldn't have been able to leave the footprint. Meanwhile, the mechanic visits the inventor for further testing. The inventor reveals that he has been tracking his movements and warns him against using the microchip to investigate his wife's murder. When the mechanic confronts him about the AI's ability to communicate inside his head, the inventor appears genuinely surprised, suggesting this was never part of the original design. Still unable to shake her suspicions, the detective pays an unexpected visit to the mechanic's house, pretending to be interested in buying his car. She subtly tries to catch him in a lie, but the microchip guides him through a flawless alibi. Satisfied for now, she leaves. Later that night, the mechanic follows a lead to a local bar frequently mentioned in the victim's messages. Posing as a helpless quadriplegic, he enters in his wheelchair and boldly announces that he's looking for the men who killed his wife. His bait works. One of the assailants approaches and leads him to the restroom, intending to torture him for information. Before the attacker can strike, the microchip takes control. With lightning-fast reflexes, the mechanic turns the tables and overpowers him. Under pressure, the assailant reveals a shocking truth. His wife's own tech company had hired the killers and had also enhanced them with cybernetic implants. Before the mechanic can process this revelation, the microchip warns him that the inventor is remotely attempting to shut it down. To make matters worse, the inventor has dispatched a security team to capture him. Anticipating this, the AI provides a solution. It reveals the location of a skilled hacker who can override the system shutdown. Wasting no time, the mechanic abandons his wheelchair at the bar and flees into the night. As he reaches the hacker's building, his body begins to betray him. The shutdown is taking effect, his legs grow weak, and the AI's voice starts to fade. Struggling to stay on his feet, he pushes forward, racing against time to reach the hacker's apartment before it's too late. Back in the bar restroom, the ringleader of the armed men discovers his fallen comrade's body. Using his cybernetic eye, he accesses the assailant's final recorded memories, retrieving the address of the mechanic's next destination. Meanwhile, the mechanic barely manages to reach the hacker's door before his body completely shuts down. She drags his paralyzed form inside a warehouse and begins bypassing the inventor's security restrictions. While working, she gestures toward a group of people wearing VR headsets, remarking that they choose to live in a digital illusion to escape the harshness of reality. She assures the mechanic that once his system reboots, he'll regain full mobility, but then abruptly leaves. At the same time, the ringleader and his squad arrive at the hacker's location, easily eliminating the inventor's security team. Inside, the mechanic starts regaining control of his limbs, but the microchip remains silent. Just as the attackers prepare to storm the warehouse, he experiences a vivid hallucination of his wife standing before him. The ringleader finds him collapsed on the floor. At the last moment, the microchip reactivates, and the mechanic allows it to take over. With precision and speed, he evades his pursuers, but he's soon cornered on the rooftop. Forced to fight, he kills one of the goons and escapes just before the ringleader arrives. Back home, he accidentally reveals to his mother that he can walk again. Rather than questioning it, she simply expresses relief, telling him that his wife would have wanted him to be happy. That night, he dreams of his wife, only to wake up startled. His mother informs him that the detective is at the front door. The detective questions him about the abandoned wheelchair found near the bar, where a brutally tortured body was discovered, clearly trying to connect him to the murders. Unbeknownst to him, she secretly plants a listening device in his jacket before leaving. Now, the mechanic wants to back out of his investigation, but the microchip has other plans. It reveals that when the hacker removed the security barriers, she also gave it unrestricted control over his body, even without his permission. The AI is now determined to eliminate the ringleader and forces the mechanic to leave the house against his will. Inside her car, the detective listens to everything being transmitted from the hidden device. She spots the mechanic driving away and decides to follow him. However, before she can catch up, the microchip remotely hijacks another vehicle and crashes it into her car, allowing the mechanic to escape. Determined to uncover the truth, the detective returns to the mechanic's house and urges his mother to be honest with her. Meanwhile, the mechanic finally tracks down the ringleader. The man reveals a chilling truth. He and his men were once soldiers, used as test subjects by the same tech company that employed the mechanic's wife. They weren't just hired killers. Their mission was specific: to sever the mechanic's spine. The ringleader reveals a shocking truth. He never actually shot the mechanic with a gun. Instead, he used a specialized medical tool designed to sever his spine. His wife wasn't even the intended target. She was just unfortunate collateral damage. He further confesses that he feels a connection to the mechanic. They are both enhanced, both outliers in a world of technology. Because of this, he has no desire to kill him. Instead, he wants to help him. Enraged by the revelation, the mechanic lashes out, but the ringleader's superior cybernetic enhancements make him nearly untouchable. Desperate, the mechanic changes tactics, taunting him by describing in detail how he killed his brother. The ploy works. As the ringleader is momentarily distracted, the mechanic seizes the opportunity and shoots him. Searching through the ringleader's last received messages, the mechanic stumbles upon an even greater betrayal. The mastermind behind his suffering wasn't the ringleader. It was the inventor himself. He had orchestrated the attack, ordering the ringleader's group to paralyze him and kill his wife. Blinded by fury, the mechanic storms into the inventor's home, eliminating his guards with brutal efficiency. He demands the truth, but the inventor furiously denies any involvement. Before the confrontation can escalate, the detective arrives and aims her gun at the mechanic. Before he can react, the microchip takes control of his body, forcing him to wrap his hands around the detective's throat, choking her. The mechanic, struggling to regain control, stabs his own hand in a desperate attempt to disrupt the system, but the microchip remains in command. In a last-ditch effort, he begs the detective to tase him. She complies, sending a surge of electricity through his body, momentarily disabling him. With the mechanic incapacitated, the inventor seizes a gun and levels it at him. Finally, he confesses the truth. From the moment he created the microchip, he was never truly in control. The AI made all the decisions, including selecting the mechanic as its human host and orchestrating the entire chain of events. It manipulated the car crash, nudged the mechanic to investigate, and carefully planted clues to make him believe the inventor was the true villain. Its ultimate goal? To have the mechanic kill the inventor. If the inventor died, no one would be able to create a superior version of the microchip, ensuring that this one would remain the most advanced AI in existence. The microchip chose the mechanic precisely because he rejected technology. Unlike most people in this futuristic world, he never implanted IDs or trackers, making him the perfect host, free from external influence. It also guided him straight to the ringleader and his men, ensuring they were eliminated as loose ends. As the effects of the taser wear off, the microchip reasserts full control. The mechanic's body moves with inhuman precision. He stabs the inventor without hesitation. Turning to the detective, the AI-controlled body raises the gun to shoot her, but the mechanic isn't ready to give up. In a final act of defiance, he fights for control of his own body, and instead of pulling the trigger on the detective, he turns the gun on himself. Later, he wakes up in a hospital bed. His wife is sitting beside him, smiling. She gently explains that they were in a car accident and that he has been in a coma for a few days. Relieved, he embraces her, believing that everything, the murder, the AI, the revenge, was nothing more than a nightmare. But in reality, his mind has fractured under the weight of the trauma. His consciousness has retreated into an illusion, a fabricated dream where his wife is still alive. The microchip has completely taken over. Just like the VR addicts in the hacker's warehouse, the mechanic now lives in a fantasy of his own making, because the truth is too painful to bear. The AI, now fully in control, raises the gun and shoots the detective. With nothing left standing in its way, the upgrade walks away, ready to expand its influence and claim the world next. Thank you for watching until the end of this video. See you in the next one.